Hey guys, Chris here with Steve. We're going to go over our August programming. We really hope that y'all enjoy what we're doing here and giving y'all a little bit more information about the programs. Today is one rep max front squat day, and we still need to test our back squats. But so far this morning, just from the few classes that we've had, it's been awesome to see the results. So like I told class earlier, if you've been consistent, you've been hitting all the squat days, then we expect good results. And if you've been missing a little bit, that's probably going to show too. So get consistent, and hopefully this helps you. Hopefully giving you this calendar helps you be a little bit more consistent, especially if you really want to make those certain days that we're working on specific movements. You pretty happy with July so far?
Yeah, it's been good. I know a lot of us, as we've been increasing the squats, just make sure that you're taking care of those hips, and especially as we're going into this next month too, our primary focus being the deadlift. Just kind of make sure that we're taking care of our lower backs and our hips, right? Maintenance and recovery is going to be a huge key, especially as we're focusing on these primary points of movement, right?
August, big focus is going to be deadlift. So the big strength movement will be deadlift, pulling from the ground. So we will have deadlift days. There's actually only going to be 4 deadlift days, as you'll see on the little chart that we're going to pop up. But there's also accessory days each week. So those are going to be isolation stuff, banded exercises on the hamstring and the lower back. So we're going to try to not only improve the overall deadlift, but the whole posterior chain. Our actual secondary movement is going to be strict pull-ups. So any kind of strict pulling really, but strict pull-ups is the easiest way to explain it. We're going to have some upper body strength days in there, 3 or 4 upper body strength days where we're actually just doing pull-ups or chin-ups and focusing on that. But then we're also going to have some accessory work days in there that you'll see on the calendar, and doing both of those workouts is going to be important to really maximize the results of the program. All right, so Steve's going to talk about our benchmark workouts for August.
Yeah, for August we have Fran, Grace, and the Bear Complex. Most of them are going to land, actually all 3 of them are going to land on Wednesdays. So don't miss out on those, especially with even though all of our workouts are fairly varied and we don't repeat workouts, these benchmarks are really good indicators for us to see and measure progress, right? And that's the reason for why we do log them in, right? So utilize Wodify, make sure you're logging your scores in and be consistent in showing up for those workouts especially.
I like to talk about the difference between training and testing, right? Or training and competing is another way to put it. Your average day, 95% of your days in the gym, you should be focused on training. So the end goal for that training session is to focus on whatever's going to make you best in the long run. So for example, maybe doing a strict scaled pull-up versus some type of kipping 1 rep at a time. Sometimes you have to take a step back and do whatever's going to make you better in the long term and not focus too much on that day or the result of that day. Don't always get caught up in the results. Don't worry about the ranking on the WOD board or the coach board or whatever it is, and focus on your long-term results. But with that in mind, we want to have 95% of those days be training days, and then every once in a while we're going to want to test, right? See how we're doing, see how much we're improving. So again, for this month we got Fran, we got Grace, we got Bear Complex. We're going to test those. We've done all those before. If you've been doing this for any period of time, you've done most of those. So we're going to get to retest those. We're also going to have an August benchmark test. So that we're going to do a workout at the beginning of the month, workout at the end of the month. That's not necessarily one of your classic girls or whatever, or hero workouts. And it's going to be more specific to the deadlifts and pulling that we're going to be training and working on during the month. And then we'll test it again at the end of the month. So that'll be a fun one. And then we'll obviously test our deadlift and test our pull up as we get closer to the end of the month and see what kind of progress we made during the month. So we're going to put this out in a PDF format along with the video. Don't forget, we also have our Landon Winery social event that is on the 23rd, August 23rd, Friday night. So mark that on your calendar and save that date. That's basically it. Again, check out the accessory work. Make sure you try to hit those days, and keep rocking. You got anything else?
No, just a reminder, guys. So just because we're focusing on deadlift and pull-ups, right, and we'll work on them in class, doesn't mean that you can't or you shouldn't be working extra outside, especially with the pull-ups, because that's one point of area or skill that I know a lot of the members have been voicing that, they say they want to get a pull-up or a muscle up, within a year or two, right? And that just doesn't happen with just 5 or 6 days out of the month, even within the time that we're giving class, right?
Yeah, our goal is to see progress, but it's going to take more than a 4-week program to really get to where your long-term goal should be. But you got to do it in little chunks. So with that said, I'm going to shift gears into the weightlifting program. So there's been quite a few people interested in doing something different, maybe take a little break from the intensity of CrossFit and focus on their lifts or techniques. There's nothing wrong with that. I do typically recommend that you do one program or the other, because the programs are somewhat linear in nature, and it takes an extended period of time to kind of see the fruits of your labor as you go through the progression of a program. So our current weightlifting program is a 16-week program. It's broken into 4 mesocycles. So there's four 4-week mesocycles. So each 4-week block is kind of its own little program, right? And then they're developed to be put together to build on each other. So we're actually entering the last 4-week block of our current 16-week cycle. If you do want to just do some weightlifting and improve on the lifts and focus on your strength a little bit and get better with the barbell, get more comfortable with the barbell, it's actually today is the day we're starting. It's a perfect time to jump in and just knock out that last 4-week cycle. You don't have to do the previous 3 blocks to do the 4th block. But 4 weeks sounds like a perfect amount of time for you to focus on your lifts. Then now's a good time to do it, especially with the Open coming up again in soon, September? I can't even remember, yeah. But here within the next 8 weeks or so, we're gonna be hitting the Open again, which is crazy. So 4 weeks now to build on those lifts and maybe just do some extra cardio that's bike and growing. I wouldn't really do too many metcons while you're also doing the weightlifting, and then jump back into CrossFit. And I think a lot of people would benefit from doing that if that's something that interests them.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's all we got.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's have a good day.